Welcome back. Our next guest is a United States Senator who has broken every barrier in the book. She's the first Thai American woman elected to Congress, the first woman with a disability elected to Congress, and the first senator to give birth while in office. She's doing it all. Please welcome Senator from Illinois, Tammy Duckworth.
Hi, how are y'all?
Welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today. I know you have a busy schedule.
Well, it's great to be on. I'm actually working from home because DC is a little snowed in right now. So I'm doing the whole mom homeschooling my daughter and sneaking upstairs. And I'm actually in the hallway, by the way, as I'm filming this.
Oh, wow.
Your new office.
Well, thank you
got it.
for your time, Senator. There is so much going on right now. The biggest, most recent is we have a new president. What are you hoping to accomplish in Biden's first 100 days in office?
Well, I hope that we can get help and relief out to the American people right away with a new COVID rescue package, get an additional $1,400 check out to hardworking families right now who are having trouble paying rent, their mortgages, put food on the table. We need to get help out to state and local governments so that they can do things like make our schools safe so our kids can go back to in-person instead of continuing on distance learning. And then we have to invest in small businesses and all of those entrepreneurs and business owners who are really the engine of our economy. Then I want to get an infrastructure package passed. We really need to invest in fixing the roads and the bridges and the mass transit systems across this country, and that will spur our economy. That's just to start for the first 100 days.
Yeah, we need those bridges fixed.
Good list.
We need those bridges. We need all the stuff I think that people don't think about. But environmental justice is a big passion of yours as well. What are you doing to get more people involved in that issue?
Well, one of the first things I did was to actually form an environmental justice caucus in the Senate, and Cory Booker joined me as co-chair of that. So I'm so pleased to have him as my partner. But frankly, most Americans don't even realize that, when we talk about racism and injustice in our society, that it also exists not just in the criminal justice system, but in the environmental protection system. Too often, Black and brown communities are where we've put our most polluting industries. If you look at Chicago, for example, if you just go from the Gold Coast, the Magnificent Mile, and go 10 stops on our subway, the L, to south side of Chicago, the life expectancy drops between 18 to 22 years in 10 subway stops. And that's not from gun violence. That's purely from healthcare and access to good healthcare. And we have higher rates of asthma. We have polluting industries. So, what I'm doing now is I'm introducing a bill with Congresswoman Bush and Senator Markey that would make it easier to identify environmental justice communities so that we can more effectively target those communities for remediation and to promote cleaner industries in those areas so that our Black and brown kids in particular don't grow up with higher rates of asthma, with higher rates of cancer, and all of these things that are a result of environmental pollutants.
Wow. We are so grateful that you are so passionate about this.
Yeah, there's structural racism in our country. And when we had the Black Lives Matter marches and everything, people talked a lot and focused on criminal justice reform, but people don't realize that we actually have structural racism that exists in our country in a way that we sort of take it for granted. And unfortunately, it's mostly Black and brown communities that bear the brunt of this. And also some very rural communities also bear the brunt, because that's where we put the polluting industries.
Well, one of Biden's biggest messages from the campaign and the inauguration was unity. But are we really being asked to unify with white supremacists and people wearing Camp Auschwitz shirts?
I think it's more about asking all Americans to come together and unite against domestic terrorists, to unite against white supremacy, to unite against hate, and find the common ground between us. I've worked across the aisle my entire career, and I always say, I'm going to assume that the other person loves this country as much as I do. And if they truly love this country, they will want to uphold her Constitution. So they will unite with me against those insurrectionists who tried to overthrow our democracy on January 6th. There we go. So when I read reports that, some of our own service members and retirees betrayed their oaths by engaging in the insurrection, I urge that we come together to oppose that and to stop that from growing within our community. So yes, it's about us uniting against hate.
Okay, I love that. Well, for those of you who don't know, you lost your legs while in combat in